Well, hello everybody. All right. No set schedule today. Oh, no set schedule. Just hanging out, talking about water today, but we can talk about whatever we want. Like I said, no set schedule. Do whatever we want. Okay, since there's nobody in the room yet, I actually wanted to grab a little water. As always, you guys can, I guess, see how I drink the hydrogen water. People continue to ask. I thought it was pretty clear by now, but I just pour a glass, hello, of not only the cleanest water, but hydrogen dissolved into it. Full saturation. Well, since you're in the room, you're the first. Are you new today, or are you a return viewer? Go ahead and comment, guys. Are you, that's a little bright, isn't it? Are you new to the room today, or return? Return, FX2 Spy. Oh, good to see you. I don't think I've ever seen your name pop up before, though. But this is live, so we can talk. I mean, if you guys have any questions, this is the time to ask them. Of course, nothing that I'm saying today is medical advice, medical claims. Nothing I'm saying today, it's all my opinion. But I will say that I saw a report today, and it has to do with water. I was shocked. Well, I would say that I guess I wasn't shocked. I was just more sad based on what it showed. Monique, good evening. Kathy says, return, but I already knew of the advantages of hydrogen peroxide. Well, hydrogen peroxide is different than molecular hydrogen or hydrogen. So we're talking about something else. In fact, hydrogen peroxide is weird because it's actually more oxygen. So on a molecular level, it's instead of H2O like water, it's H2O2. So it has one additional oxygen molecule. It has almost nothing to do with hydrogen. But hydrogen peroxide, in my opinion, why it does what it does, or why it has some benefits, because it does, again, in my opinion, having an additional oxygen oxidizes. So it like kills things. So that's why when you get a cut, you put hydrogen peroxide on there because it can kill the bacteria or anything that might be on there per se, so that you don't get an infection. So hydrogen peroxide is good for some things. Definitely different than hydrogen, but still cool nonetheless. I like hydrogen peroxide. I would personally, for me, get food grade hydrogen peroxide. And then you just have to learn about different dilutions. So thanks everybody for the thumbs up. Everybody's giving the thumbs up there. Thank you. And we got 5 people in the room. I'll just tell you what I found today. There's not really almost anybody in here. So, but if you do enough research, you'll see it. Basically, they have recently discovered that we have some crazy pollutants in our water. And we know, I believe the number was, well, at least what we were being told was 600 and something, 690 something or 620 something. I don't remember. It was a lot. Again, in my opinion, there's much more contaminants than that. Should we talk about contaminants? Should I talk about some water testing that was done? If you guys are interested, comment, say yes, we're interested, or no, we'd rather talk about something else. If you have another question, because honestly, it gets kind of boring after a while. You know, there's things like arsenic, barium. You know, it's funny because there's even, you know, lead, you know, magnesium. You could say that, oh, magnesium is good for you. But, you know, you have to, there are almost like inorganic and organic forms of things like magnesium, for example, even boron. So boron could technically potentially be something that's not good. but yet it could also be something that's good, like mineral. So the whole thing gets a little strange. Um, yeah, of course, I like organic. I like when they're in food. I like when my minerals are in food. But of course, there's numerous other things that we would never know what they mean. But things like PFOAs, PFOs, phenol, you know, I mean, it would literally sound like a science class if I just started reading down the list. The thing that I liked about this particular list, now this was water that had been tested, is about how they got rid of them out of the water. That's where I'm interested in. In fact, see, this is something I noticed, a sneaky little thing that a lot of water filtration companies did. They'll have a list of all the things that their filter is able to filter out. And so Monique says, I bring my hydrogen water with me everywhere I go. I mostly do too. It's kind of, I mean, it doesn't bother me, but yeah. And you got a lot of herbicides, pesticides. Here's a list of all the chemicals found in water. But again, what I liked was that even, can you believe, even radioactive contaminants, can you believe that? Uranium, I mean, wow. Radioactive contaminants include impurities like cesium, I think that's how it's pronounced, uranium, and radium. They all sound like some form of radiation, but many people don't realize that this contamination doesn't just come from countries dumping radioactive waste. Some radioactive contaminants, like uranium, often occur naturally. But since radioactive contaminants can be dangerous to work with, we are limited in which elements third-party laboratories will test. So that's pretty wild. And what I did see from the method that I like to use, which is carbon distillation to clean water, because not all water filtration systems are the same, not even close, or modalities. So it doesn't have to just be like machines, but like a certain modality, like if a machine is engineered to do something. And apparently carbon distillation has been shown to remove the majority, if not all, of the radioactive contaminants. Wow. Like I said, I'm very, very fascinated by distillation. The reason being, you know, using the hydrologic system to me is very intelligent. It's like smart thing to do. And what I saw today was information that I hadn't seen before about, here, hold on. Let me put, I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, but I can put an earpiece if it gets better. Let's see if it does, and then you guys let me know. Okay, so doing these tests, showing all these chemicals, I see this thing today where they find out that we just have the craziest stuff in our water, contaminants, that we've been dumping just huge amounts, and like almost everybody's water is contaminated. The thing that surprised me was when I saw the information about, this was actually an article I was reading, and in this article, it was talking about how they're finding like bacteria, different type of bacteria, parasites. I was kind of surprised about the parasites in water, and what else? Like viruses. So like they were finding things in the water, and the water is obviously polluted. I've never seen a water filtration system that can eliminate parasites, bacteria, viruses. It's pretty cool. And all it is, and luckily it's not even that expensive to get clean water. It just sucks though. It sucks that we have to go to this extreme to get clean water. It's just totally crazy. But yeah, they have things in here like potassium, but they have nitrates, mercury, like I said, iron, lead, fluoride. This eliminated all the fluoride, obviously. Wow, look what it did to the hardness of the water. The hardness, it went from 147.15 through after carbon distillation to a 1.3. That's pretty impressive. 99 point, almost 99.2% eliminating some of these compounds. It's so cool. I wish I could pronounce some of this stuff. It's like chlorophenol, 2-nitrophenol, 2 and 4 dichlorophenol. I mean, it's just a lot of phenols. Dinitrophenol, yeah, and then benzenes and bromobenzene and brofor, brofom. You know what? This is funny. I'm tripping over my words here. Bromoform. Crazy. I'm pretty sure it's the PFOAs and the PFOs, the ones that are really nasty. And this showed to remove it from numbers like 26 to a 0. So, yeah, clean water. Who would have thought? But I just was wondering, if we really think like, I don't think you don't hear in the news very often that they're saying something like, hey, your water's harming you. I think I remember, what was it, Flint, Michigan or something? I don't remember where it was. It was somewhere where people were getting sick from the water. And it was funny because I was thinking if you'd have been drinking water that was filtered this way, I don't think they would have ever gotten sick. It's, I think, because people drink tap water for the most part. And I don't know why it seems wild to me that people would drink tap water. It doesn't just seem unhealthy, but it seems like really gross. Just drink tap water. Wow. And maybe I should be grateful that we have water out of the tap that you can drink and maybe not die potentially. But hey, if we have the ability to make clean water, I'm going to make clean water. It's like one of the things that I like, for some reason, I love the most. I just love water. It makes you feel so good when you're properly hydrated. And it's so simple. It's so beautiful. What it does to plants and that you can talk to it. Does that sound crazy? How people talk to plants and plants respond? I think we've talked about this before. But let's see here if I have these books. Huh. Well, that's weird. I wonder where it went. I showed it to you guys before, right? You guys can comment below. Didn't I? Oh, you know what? I think I know where. There it is. Okay. Now, you guys remember, right? How when you talk to water, or not just talk to it, think thoughts towards it, sing to it, put pictures or images on it. It's crazy. It's obviously like, and you know what? I think we can feel it. We're primarily made by water, right? And if someone says something nice to you, you can feel it in your body. You feel like, oh, or if somebody says something nasty to you, you feel that too, just like the water. So it's just that we have consciousness. In fact, wouldn't that mean that we can actually control our water, our body of water? Like if you really work on your frame of mind. And I wanted to look for the one, they did this one on distilled water. You guys want to see the images? Let's see. Well, this is interesting. This is an image of, this is water under a microscope. I believe it's from a lake. And this is what it looked like originally. And then all these Buddhist monks sat and prayed to the water or chanted to the water or something. And then they took a sample and it looked like that. I mean, that's so beautiful. Look at that. Look at the geometry. I mean, my goodness, it looks like a little Buddhist monk somehow in the center of this thing. But just look at that thing. It's nature. Nature's gorgeous. That's actually how I figured out how to make water the cleanest, was because of nature. I agree with you, Christina. Christina says that's an interesting book. So much we don't know. Exactly. And that's why I always keep an open mind. I like data and science to help kind of guide us along the way, but I'm definitely open-minded. And I thought this was bogus the first time I heard about it. I'm like, come on. I'm a skeptic. For you guys, again, who don't really know me, it's hard to convince me of things. It's not easy. And there was a bunch of them here, but I wanted to I just wanted to find this one about distilled water, but I could show you a lot of them. I mean, here's one where they play, well, this is like heavy metal. This one here, heavy metal music, you know, and then you have like, this one is a Japanese nursery song. Sounds kind of cute, like for kids, this one. I love to look at things in nature. Everything is just truly amazing and complex, says Christina. I agree. Again, a lot of people don't know that a lot of the healing modalities that I try to figure out is observing nature a lot. That's how I thought about water. I mean, have you guys seen my video about that? I guess I could just tell you now. But like I'm sure most people know, I was thinking one day, how does nature clean water? That's what I was thinking. And obviously I realized it all starts with hydrogen. It all starts with the sun, and the sun hits the ocean, and the sun is pretty much entirely hydrogen. And Laura says, "Hi, Greg. I watched your last live where you talked about Dr. Emoto. So amazing. I believe it. But can you explain on why you think hydrogen has something to with programming water?" Yeah, yeah, I can explain that. Northern Yeti says, "My new routine: chugging distilled hydrogen water while listening to Japanese nursery rhyme songs." Oh, that's good, but not a bad idea. You might, yeah, you should give that a go and report back. Why not? Nursery rhymes are so cute. They're so like peaceful, and that's like my one of my favorite emotions is peace. I think it might actually be my favorite emotion. Not one of them. It might just be my favorite. Yeah. Um, oh, spring water. They have some really in Japan that they really value their water. A lot of people don't know that. But here's spring water from a real special place in Japan. And oh yeah, so let's see here. Somebody was asking a question. It was Laura. As far as programming water, well, my one of my theories and that I have about water, Mystery Moto, Masaru Emoto, the guy who figured this out, Japanese guy. Um, of course I thought he was just a quack. I thought it was crazy. I'm like, come on. But I was like, Japanese guy is doing this. He's either crazy or he's onto something. I don't know, but obviously he was onto something. And just such a beautiful thing. But maybe I'm just posing it as a maybe. I came up with this idea that maybe it's not the water that's responding, that it's the hydrogen within the water. And there's reasons that I believe that potentially is just because of the relationship that hydrogen and oxygen have to life and death. Almost like a tree, the tree of life. What's funny about the tree of life? I mean, just kind of a funny little segue here by hanging out with you guys. I was looking at leaves, and you can see like all these little, like almost like veins. When you look from above in the sky and you look at rivers, they look like veins. They look like trees. In fact, they look like tree roots and even the branches. And this flows through life. Even us, like our veins, they they look like branches of a tree. Sounds like the tree of life to me. It's everywhere. Everywhere where there's life, it's like the waters move and all the magical things happen in nature. But again, there's a relationship in water between life and death. And, water can bring life, and you could flood the entire planet and be death. You could drink too much water and get water poisoning. Please don't do that. It's terrible. Or you could not have any water and you won't make it either. And water seems to have a very interesting relationship between like good and evil, light and darkness, you know. And it can be both a positive thing and a negative thing, just like humans. Like humans can be good and do good, or they can be bad and do bad. It's like this duality, and water seems to have this duality. And I just believe that because, like, the oxygen oxidizes, so oxygen is like death. In fact, in science, it's depicted as red, which is weird because that's the color of, well, not just blood or death, but like the devil. They're red, you know. Then you have hydrogen. Hydrogen's like blue, or, you know, well, it's depicted as blue in the world of science. And it's the life molecule. So you have the death molecule oxidation, hydrogen antioxidant, you know, and they both have these interesting properties. And so, yeah. And I just think that what's responding is the life. Life responds. Just like if there's a dead horse and you're yelling at him, he's not going to respond. But if you have a horse that's alive and you start yelling at him, you might freak him out and might start jumping around or something. So I just think that it potentially is the hydrogen that is responding. So that was your question, right? Let's see, Christina, or no, Laura. You said, can you expand on why you think hydrogen has something to do with programming the water? So as far as programming the water and putting positive things into it, whether you're grateful for it, you know, that goes for a lot of things though. If you're grateful for a tree or a friend or whatever, you know, it seems to affect that very thing. And you also. So, yeah. So, like I said, I think hydrogen, that's why I think that hydrogen, if you infuse a lot of it in the water, think about the people who go to Lourdes, France, actually. They go to that water. Now, granted, that water has hydrogen in it, but they're going there with like a belief system. They're believing this is holy water, so they're grateful for it. They love it. They have belief. They have faith in it. You know, but all of those could be potentially not just being transferred to the water, but it's got extra hydrogen. So maybe it's more hydrogen is reacting to this emotional part of what you're going through when you're like having belief. But clearly the water is affected. I just think the hydrogen is affected more. So that's kind of that's another thing that I like about that, you know. It's just great that these things exist, honestly. Like we can buy a distiller that cleans our water. We can buy a machine that can put super clean, you know, hydrogen into the water. Blah blah blah, you know, all these things, that gadgets that we can get, you know, that are cool. I mean, I love clean water. Okay, let's see if anybody had any questions. So ultimately, the thing I was really ultimately talking about was quality of water. What I was trying to do was find that one about distilled water. I knew they had one, but yeah, finding stuff like bacteria, maybe a virus, maybe a parasite in our water. I hadn't seen a report like that. Um, yeah, I just ran across one today, and then the day before that, a huge story about the amount of contamination in our water because of all this dumping that we've been doing, I believe from the petroleum industry. And I mean, just wow. I don't think I could, I don't know how I would want to live without this water. Like, I don't want to drink that stuff. My poor body. And you don't even know it. I don't know how people can drink tap water. I just don't know. And I see them do it all the time. Interesting. I cannot find that one that I want to show you guys. I'll show you this one. This one's love and gratitude. That's what I like. I like those emotions too. Gratitude is such a beautiful emotion. You have to be humble, you know, to really be able to feel it. And unfortunately, some things that humble us just don't feel so good. Ah, but that is life, isn't it? All right. So, okay, guys, that's what I was going to talk to you today about water. If you guys had any other questions, you can ask. Let's see. Dove says, got my new cord for my H machine yesterday after being without H water for 2 weeks. Yay. Well, hooray, Dove, because I totally get it. I don't know what it is, but I don't like going without my hydrogen water. Even if I have clean water, I just want it to be hydrogen water. I mean, I don't need it all the time, but I had a issue with like the power going out and a while back, and yeah, I missed my hydrogen water. It's like I got this whole routine with it too. For the most part. All right, let's see. It's late here too, by the way. I'm sure it's late everywhere, but just in case I seem sleepy, because I am. Gulp Melt Flood Surfer says, what should I drink when don't have enough to buy hydrogen machine? I usually get reverse osmosis or spring water, but what about it being in plastic containers? I got the answer to this question. Almost done. Okay, so if you can't drink hydrogen water, that's fine. One thing you can do is exercise. And as far as what water to drink, if you're buying RO water or you're buying spring water and you're buying them out of plastic jugs, one of the things that I noticed or thought about on my whole water journey and health journey is buying bottled water. I think it's like I think it might be one of the more foolish ways of getting water because it's like the most expensive and you're not even getting the best water and it is in plastic jugs. So obviously if you have to get it that way, you have to get it that way and that's fine. And that's all you can do sometimes. But if you're thinking like long-term, like you're like, I want clean water the rest of my life, or at least for the next 5 years or whatever, getting what I use is a carbon distiller. The way it cleans everything out of the water. That was the stuff I was showing earlier as far as all the tests, all the third-party lab tests that they did and stuff. And making your own water, you know what you're getting. It's like ideal. And it ends up being the cheapest. I believe it pays itself off probably within, I think it's 6 months. And then after that, you're saving money, but it's not just about saving money. You're getting better water. You know what you're getting. So that's what I would do. I would almost guess this. I would never want to, I don't suggest taking loans out for things, but I think a monthly payment on a distiller would be lower than what you would be paying for bottled water. And again, clean water. But if you want to get them out of those plastic jugs, I mean, that's your second best option, even though I don't think it's the best option. But, I mean, you can get water filters too. There's water filters out there. I mean, I have the Alexa Pure and Berkey and all this stuff, but honestly, yeah, carbon distiller is way better. Okay, Christina has a question. Hopefully that answers your question, GeoMelt. Oh yeah, if you want, at least in my opinion, the best carbon distiller would be at mypurewater.com. And there's a discount code if you want it, and it's the name of the channel, Uprising 144K. You can get one of theirs is like made in America. They use really high grade metals. They're like industrial. They're super strong. And in my opinion, if you take care of them, they'll last a really long time, like probably the rest of your life. They're amazing. Okay. And you can get with the coupon code, you can get it for like 500 and something bucks. That's the thing, is that a lot of money? Yeah, but 500 something bucks for like clean water? That's actually, in my opinion, kind of a bargain these days. Clean water. I mean, you can't put a price on it. We may not value it enough, but I value it. Christina says, are you ever going to put your protocols together somewhere so people can use them? I know you mentioned once you do it specifically for each person. That's correct. But there must be some basic ones for good health. Yeah, we could talk about some. A lot of people don't agree with my protocols, just so you know. Do you have any more interviews coming up with other people? I really enjoy those. Yeah, I'm interviewing. I did an interview that I haven't posted yet, and it's a pretty interesting story. Um, so yeah, periodically. Bottled water was proven to be tap water, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, I don't even know if you can trust it. They just probably run it through a carbon filter, a lot of these. Maybe a different across the pond. Yeah, and Geo Melt Flood Surfer says, thanks, bro. I'll check it out 144. So yeah, but that's just if you want clean water. Some people don't care. Some people don't even drink enough water. Don't even drink enough water. I mean, yeah, then why have clean water if you don't drink it? I don't know. It just feels magical to me. We run on water, like it's almost like gasoline. What's interesting is that you can run certain cars off of water. It's amazing. I mean, like I said, water is just something special about it. And I kind of wish, kind of wish people valued it more. Well, like countries and stuff. uh, yeah, now I'm going to sound like a tree hugger. Okay, let's see here. Geomel says, wish I could shower in clean water or like a hydrogen bath or something. Oh, dude. Stay tuned. That's all I can say about that one. Stay tuned. I've done it before, but I'm going to do something that's even better than what I've done in the past because yeah, there's a way of doing it correct. I got to say in the hydrogen world, man, so many people do it the wrong way, but there is a right and wrong way in my opinion, of course. Um so Christina says, how much water should you be drinking per day? Well, Christina, it depends. Um, it depends on your size. It depends on how much you sweat, but it also depends on how really your condition of your kidneys. That's something that's really important, and then ultimately what type of goals that you have. But if I were to give you just a rough range, I would say at least 1.5 liters to 3 liters, if that answers your question. And because I don't like to give medical advice like that unless and regardless, even if I knew the condition of your kidneys, I'm just saying that this video is probably going to get deleted. All right, let's see, Christina. Each day, sorry for the typo. Okay, Christina. How often do you do a parasite cleanse? Me personally, I go typically, well, anywhere between once a year to once every 3 years. And a lot of it depends on how I've been, how I feel, what I've been eating, stuff like that. But usually my diet is kind of strange because my diet's anti-parasitic diet practically, which is kind of interesting. I didn't do it like that on purpose. I chose the foods I did for other reasons, and I ended up finding out that so many of the stuff I'm consuming is anti-parasitic. And yeah, so I could probably get away with it these days once every 3, 4, 5 years, something like that. But yes, I like to deworm, and fasting is another way of purifying and cleansing, clean water, certain foods, in my opinion, stuff like that. Okay. Ilby says, I drink a ton of it, but with milk, tea, and sugar. That's weird. Are you talking about hydrogen water? You drink a ton of what? But if you all I'll say is that if you're adding milk, tea, and sugar, yeah, I mean, probably tastes great though. All right, Laura says, if you appreciate Greg's efforts, give him a thumbs up, hit the like. Wow, thank you, Laura. Wow. That was very kind. I appreciate that. And it does help with the algorithm. So everybody should comment something, even if you just want to say, hey, or I'm sleepy, which I think I'm a little sleepy. Yeah, I was gonna make a video actually, and then I decided just to go live. I was actually gonna do a video that people have been requesting, but it was getting late. It is late. Brush my teeth. Okay, let's see here. Well, thank you for the thumbs up, guys. Geomelt says, got to fuel the vessel with the right fuel. I agree. Dove says, can't wait. Geomelt says, oh boy, you trying to get me in trouble here? Yeah. Yeah, I know actually about that story. There's things that about that story that I think people don't know that they should know, as far as how that. I won't get into it. I'm gonna upset him. So I was never mind. I was upset someone. Dove for the directions for bath. For the directions for bath. Not sure what that means, Dove. Christina says thanks. Lil B is waving. Christina says, I'm excited to hear about your new ideas. When you're able to talk about them, I'm sure they will be amazing. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I have a lot of ideas. I mean, if you knew me, you'd hear me talking about them. I do talk to some of my friends about it, but not too many. But yeah. Okay, hopefully I'll be able to share them with you guys. I hope so, you know. Superfly says, hey, Greg, my kidney test result is normal. How come I have a lot of bubble in my urine? Well, I'm not a doctor, man. Sorry. No, I mean, I don't know. What are you drinking? Are you drinking just water? Are you drinking beer? Beer gives a lot of people bubbly pee. Um, Maybe for types of beverages. Yeah, let me know what you're drinking. Or do you just drink like the absolute cleanest hydrogen water? Let me know and we'll see what we can figure out. Kidney test results show normal. Lil B says boiled water. Not sure what that means, Lil B. And emoji. Well, okay, guys. Like I said, the new information, which I already knew our water was not very good. The good news is that I feel I'm not trying to do an infomercial or anything, but it's just that that's what I show you guys. I show you the facts, and the fact is that you can get something that cleans all of it out of the water, or at least 98 to 99%, like better than anything I've ever seen. And it's affordable. Clean water doesn't have to cost you 10 grand or 5 grand. You can get one for 500 and something dollars, and they last a super long time. And this is so cool. I still wish I could find you guys that picture of the distilled water one, but they're all pretty anyway. I just thought you might be curious about what the distilled one would look like. It looked pretty. Thank you, Greg, for all your time and knowledge. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. I think I am going to go to bed soon. Superfly says, I drink bottled water. Do you breathe through your mouth? Just kidding. Just joking. No, it's better than nothing. Sorry if that was a terrible joke. But yeah, I mean, bottled water sometimes is safer, but you can get a cheap distiller too, by the way. These are just like super premium, blah, blah, blah. But I think they have cheap ones, like Chinese ones for a couple $100. I don't think they last super long, but it's not too expensive. Dove says, how do you hydrogenated bath water? Definitely not going to go into the details of that. I will tell you that, no, I don't know if I can say it. Yeah, I don't know if I can say it. But all I'll tell you is that it would be very expensive, put it that way. But I think I might have found something. I'll keep you guys posted in the future. I will. I have a lot of stuff coming, guys. Got a lot of stuff coming. I think you're gonna like. Lil B says to make my tea. You boil water and make your tea. I think I would do the same. You lose all the hydrogen if you do that, though. If you're boiling the hydrogen water. I'm excited for the Hydrofix to arrive this weekend. Any steps you recommend jumping into right away? Straight to inhalation or run a few cycles of water first? Well, Hayden, I would, when you watch video 231 and 397, and then I'm sure whatever other videos I have about how you wash it, how you do citric acid, learn how to maintain it is one thing. And when you're setting it up, put water in the pitcher, watch how to break it in. There's like numerous videos you need to watch, but it's not complicated. It's just you put the proper amount of water in the pitcher and in the reservoir. Don't turn it on and set it on there and just let the membrane, like prime the membrane. Let it just soak there for like 6 to 8 hours or overnight. And then you can fire it up and you can start inhaling right away. You can drink the water right away. Yeah, get some rest, Greg. Yeah, I'm just telling you guys, I've had a long day actually. So I'm gonna go to sleep. All right, good night, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to support the channel. All right. And before I go, any other questions? I didn't realize there's 25 people in here. Wow, great memory. Video 231, 397. Yeah, which one? Both. Thank you, Greg. You're welcome. You're welcome, Christina. Yeah. Yeah, there's other videos too, but I would scroll through them. There's got to be at least 10 or 12 good ones. So, and look for maybe sometimes links for certain things like the citric acid cleaning. I put links there, stuff like that. You just have to look for all of them. They're all randomly placed because I'm terrible at computers and just kind of throw it all out there. Okay, night night. Bye, guys.